Was it almost cruel to see the 1 on 18 go in after so many slipped by earlier?
No, not really. I mean, it probably earned me an extra 400, 500 grand, so it was fine.
Rory, do you find it odd at all that like 5 months ago, and I know it was on the other side of the country, basically all the fans like kind of despise you at Bethpage Black, and then you play a weekend like this and everyone's like trying to drag you to victory almost and not rooting for the American Jacob Bridgman?
I think it's completely different, right? Playing in a team setting and playing against the United States of America compared to, I tried to take the treatment a little bit like a compliment, as if, they saw me as a threat and they were trying to get to me. So, but no, look, the support that I usually get week in, week out on the PGA Tour is absolutely amazing, and I certainly don't take it for granted. And today was no different.
What's up with this low bullet driver that you've been doing of late?
There's just some tee shots around here where I feel like if I get it in the air, the only thing I can see is trouble. So, but I can, I launched it up 17, and then I'll hit it low on 18, just because that's what I see, and that's what I feel gives me the best chance to put it in the fairway.
Is this something you've been working on, though?
I've worked on it for the last few years.
That TGL hole, or is that...
Yeah, absolutely not, Stinger. No, I think, I've used it for the last few years. I think I started to use it a lot more at Pinehurst in 24. I started to hit the low one there. But I've always had it, but I've started to hit it more. So then when I start to hit it more, I start to become a bit more confident with it, and it's become more of a go-to shot rather than like a specialty shot. It's more something that I'll use, a few times around.
You've been in Jacob's position plenty of times in your career. I'm curious. I imagine closing a tournament like this for the first time is not easy.
No.
How did you see from how he handled kind of last few hours?
I thought he handled everything really well. As I said at the start, because I wasn't putting pressure on him, it probably felt to him like he didn't need to do that much. But he played very well. He was even par through. I was surprised he was even par because I felt like he was very much in control of his golf ball. He drove it great. He hit his irons well. But it's hard. It's hard to close out big tournaments. And, even though he was maybe a little shaky coming down the stretch, he held it together when he needed to. He held a clutch comeback putt on 13 for par. He played smart on 16 when he missed it in the bunker. And he, that putt on the last isn't easy. He leaves it a little bit short, and the crowd reacts, and you got to take your time a little bit. So I give him all the props. He did what he needed to do, and I'm happy for him.
What did you think about your hole out, your bunker shot on 12?
Well, I said to Harry, it saves us from putting, so that's one thing. It's one of the I'm trying to get it within 6 feet and try to get away with a par. So, but yeah, it was nice to see it go in.
How about the chance to hit wedge off the green again on 6? What were your options there?
It's the only option I had, really. I just felt like if I hit a putter, I was sort of having to skirt too much towards the bunker, and I shouldn't have hit it there in the first place, which is the moral of the story. But it would have been nice to get it up and down off the green twice in the week, but I missed a little putt. But it's a fun hole. I think it's a cool design. Some places have tried to replicate it, but they don't come close to what that is. It's very cool.
Some of the misses on the front putts, missed on the front, how much of that is the POA affecting some of that?
Yeah, it's just more reading too much. Once I started to trust my reads a bit on the back nine, I went more with my first instinct. I putted a little bit better. I was reading too much into them, and then I'd see like Jacob's putt from the other side do something. I'm like, oh, that looked like it went more left than he thought it would. So I'm sort of factoring that in, and I was almost just giving them too much thought and not going with my first instinct, and that sort of cost me, I feel.
We have time, just one or two more.
Last year, obviously, you win Pebble, you win the Players leading into the Masters. This year, you said good West Coast swing, but how would you assess the state of your game right now versus last year? And is that something that you even do at all, or how would you kind of look at that?
I think it's pretty similar. I mean, if you look at, how I played last week, the birdies that I made, I made a few big numbers, but I was able to cut those big numbers out this week. I think only had 3 bogeys for the week, so I feel like my game's in really good shape. I'm looking forward to getting on some, Bermuda greens over the next couple of weeks, and but it's feeling good. It's feeling much better than it did in Dubai, which was a big step in the right direction, and just have to keep working. Thank you.
Thanks, Rory.